So every problem we've done before has been y equals blah, 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 blah. It's been solved for y. And so when we find dy dx, we just take the derivative of the side. That's what we do. But this one is not solved for y. How dare they, right? But, so you could say, oh, I'm just going to solve for y. And you could in this case. It wouldn't be so bad. But sometimes it's impossible to solve for y, or sometimes it's just a real pain in the butt. So we're going to learn to differentiate implicitly. So we're going to go ahead and take the derivative of both sides. This is allowed. So if this equals this, then the derivative of this should equal the derivative of that. So we're going to come into some interesting things when we get to this one. But the x's are okay, right? The derivative of 2x cubed, that's just 6x squared, right? The derivative of this side, 2y squared, you might be thinking just 4y. And it kind of is. But whenever you take the derivative of something with a y, think of it as a final step of chain rule. You have to take the derivative of the inside. You have to take the derivative of y, which is the derivative of y, dy dx. You're multiplying by dy dx. And you're like, well, why didn't I do it there? Well, we did kind of do it here, right? Because the derivative of x is 1. Because the derivative of x with respect to x is 1. X isn't changing with respect to itself, but y is changing with respect to x. So every time you're differentiating a term with a variable that's different than the one you're differentiating with respect to, so here we're differentiating with respect to x, and this is a y, you need to have this final little tiny times dy dx bit. And the derivative of a constant is still 0. Okay, so we're almost there now. Now it's just algebra to solve for dy dx. So if I want to solve for dy dx, I'm just going to divide both sides by 4y. And I'm going to simplify my fraction. And I'm going to get 3x squared over 2y is the derivative. And that is what I wanted to know. Check. Done. So we'll do it again with number 2 here. Differentiate both sides. So this is 6x. And this is 6y dy dx. Because it's a y, slap on that dy dx. Derivative of a constant is 0. Just solve for the dy dx. Scoop this guy over. Divide both sides by the 6y. And you get negative x over y is your dy dx. And that's all there is to it. And we'll just do a bunch and it'll get very nice.